Hey everybody, Tim here from RPG Keys. I wanted to show you what's new in build 51 of the RPG Keys for PC. This is the same for the 58 key as it is for the Mini and for the Kubota Speed Key. The first thing you're going to notice if you're new to V6 or if you're using this latest build is that you have to tell it which version of Lightroom you're using and which version of Photoshop you're using. So on this computer I'm using CS 5.1 32-bit, but let's say that you were using CS5 64-bit. You come over here with your mouse and you double click, and that enables you to use the 64-bit version of CS5 with your computer. On the PC, we're not fully compatible with Lightroom 4 yet, but we will be as soon as it comes out to the public. Okay, so there's that. We're going to just close it. You're going to notice the loading menu here, and what that does is it loads those actions, those RPG key actions for Lightroom 3.6 and for the version of Photoshop that you selected. So that's kind of a new feature there. Now also in here are a lot of new macros or actions in Lightroom specifically. So the old way, and still lists, the old mechanism or way to assign presets to your computer still exists. So let's say we want to search for, I'm going to go to the search tool here and search for the word preset 010 and hit enter. So here is a preset. Now if we trigger that and put that on a key, you're going to see, let's have a look here. Let's see if we can do it. You're going to see an LR pref right here, this little button. Now if we click on that, it brings up this dialog box that lets you tell it whether you want to develop preset, an adjustment brush preset, or a gradient preset, and then it will find all of the presets on your computer. Okay, so that's the tried and true method for assigning presets to your computer, to your keys. However, we have a new way for most of the industry's most commonly purchased or downloaded Lightroom presets. You can now search for the names. So let's search for Kubota and hit enter. So here's a list of all of Kevin Kubota's Lightroom presets. So you can skip that LR pref dialog box and just go ahead and click on Kevin's black and white Rosie. Okay, and there it is. You see it in the left-hand corner. Now, if we want to put a second black and white preset on that key again, I'm going to click the slash key. There it is. We got a second one, and now we'll do a third one. Okay. Now, for example, another great example might be the WoW presets. On1 basically gives away a set of presets called WoW. So I'm going to search for WoW, and sure enough, there they are. So this is something that's, I think, going to be useful for you guys, and you'll find a lot of different macros or actions to trigger most of the industry's most commonly used presets. Now that was a mouthful. The same is true in Photoshop, by the way, and we're going to be adding more actions to Photoshop that are distributed by common makers of actions in the industry. So let me show you. So if you search, if we just clicked on the Photoshop action in the RPG Keys user interface, and we're going to search for Kubota, because those are the ones we use. Right now you're going to see a list of all of Kevin Kubota's actions. Now, even though you may not own all of his, you could theoretically still try to trigger one of the actions that you don't own, and you're going to get a warning. Okay, you're going to just, it's basically when you go into Photoshop and you say, you know, if you put the Kubota black, the black Tiffy, or Blacktify, if you put that on a key in Photoshop and you don't own it, it's just going to say, when you go to hit that key, it's going to say, sorry, you don't own this. Go, search the web and find it. And you will end up on the Kubota website. And the same is true for anybody else's that we put in here. If it's really designed here to allow you to put actions on the keys that you happen to own, and we of course have to create a really comprehensive list. So there's going to be things in here that you don't own that you can't put on there, and you have to kind of use your brain to say, oh yeah, of course I own the Kubota, warm wishes action, and that's one I love, so that's what I'm going to put on the keyboard. Okay, another thing that's new here is with the product, there's a default layout. And nowadays, with the new version, you can no longer edit this default layout. So there are two default layouts for the Mini. There's one called Default RPG Mini. This is how Chris and I use it in our studio. And then there's the Speed Keys version, the one that Kevin uses in his studio. You cannot edit this default layout, but you can duplicate it and then edit it. So let me show you what I'm saying. Let's say we wanted to use Kevin Kubota's default layout because we own his actions or his presets. So, but we want to edit it. We want to make a minor tweak. Well, we click on this little cog, okay, and we say we come to this window and we say, okay, we either want to make a new one, which is a clean slate, or we want to duplicate. So I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to just call it video 1, and enter, and video 1, and enter, and it's telling me, yep, that's what you want to do. And it loads up, and there you go. We're good to go. So now we can manipulate the layout that was designed by Kevin Kubota to fit our own needs. Word to the wise, occasionally when you go to duplicate a layout, with this build it just doesn't do it. Probably happens 1 in 10 times. So if you try it and you don't see that new layout in the layout menu, just do it again. Pretty easy. It hiccups and we're looking to find that hiccup, but for now you should be good to go. Okay, that's it. That's all that's new. We really need people who are using either the Speed Key or the RPG Key Mini on a PC to let us know how it's going with Photoshop. We really need that feedback. All right, thanks. Take care.